Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. It's been a minute, international break. It was a kind of a boring international break to be honest, but at least Italy did their job. Everything is done in that sense, and we just need to look to the Euros. And now we can think about our beloved Inter. And of course, this is why I set up the show today, because we haven't talked about Inter in a while. And I got on Gianni, was of course has been on the channel at least once before, maybe twice before, from the InterViews podcast. Thank you, Gianni, for joining us. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. No, thank you for the invite. Always love to chat about Inter with you. So appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm not expecting too many people to be up because it was kind of a random stream today. I hit up Johnny and like last minute, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll hop on." So I do appreciate that. But we've got Sean in the house, so we're gonna get some interesting comments for sure in the chat. Sophia, hope you're doing well. Make sure you check her out as well. She makes content. She's a Man United fan, but also an Inter fan, which is interesting. What do you think about that, Johnny?
That's an interesting combination. But hey, thank you for buying Onana from us. We always appreciate the funding. So
Yeah, I was begging her to like not take on a few months ago, and now I'm like, thank you for that. She's actually the opposite of Anthony from Inter Worldwide. Anthony is an Inter fan, but a part-time Man United fan. So interesting.
I didn't know he was a Man United fan. Wow. Okay, now I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
he
talk to
keeps
him.
it, he keeps it on the low. He keeps it on the low, but yeah, I've known him for a while, so I know his loyalties lie there when it comes to English football. Do you have a team when it comes to English football? By the way, I know you're not a big fan of Premier, but
No, I don't have a team. When I was younger, I was watching Rooney when he was at Everton, and I was rooting kind of for Everton when he was there. But then when he got sold to Man U, I kind of stopped paying attention. So maybe an Everton fan if you really want to stick it to me, but no, not really.
yeah, yeah, don't commit to that one. That's just
No,
another
not commit
load of
after
pain.
since he's left. It's not been fun to watch. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Who else we got? Yeah, we've got Sean, who's I don't know if he's calling me a legend or
I'm
you,
gonna
and it's
say it's
probably
you.
you.
I think he's talking to you.
Well, I'm always there, so you're the one who's the guest. So I'm thinking it's you. We got fourth
Maybe.
into the house. We got Easy in the house. We got Filippo, who's saying, "Hey, my boy Gianni,"
Hey, what's up, Filippo?
and we got Abdullah as well. He's a big fan of interviews. Pod, look at that. Listens to
Appreciate that,
every single
man.
episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we've got the Uncle Sharma X interviews crossover today. Oh, we got Harry as well, who is in the gym as me today after work, but I wasn't, so it's a good reminder to to get back into the gym. But yeah, no worries, Harry. You can listen wherever you want. Look at that. Filippo also says same favorite podcast.
Thank you.
Look at
No, really,
that.
that means a lot. Thank you so much. Oh, Sean, appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Sean. Usually, he's being really nice today. Usually, I was
I know.
expecting.
Usually he's going at me pretty hard. I'll say
Yeah,
nice things. Alabama's the best state in the country. How about that?
yeah. Zanotti is the future best right back in the world.
Future best right wing back of Ethan.
But let's get into it, Johnny, man. Like as I said, this international break is kind of we kind of needed it. Like I feel like it's been like a intense beginning of the season for us, but also good. But it was so stressful yesterday, watching Italy
Oh
Ukraine.
gosh, yeah.
Like what was your feeling? Because if people don't know, by the way, if you're new to the channel, I support Italy. I grew up in Italy, so I support Italy. So yeah, watching that game yesterday, I was stressed as hell, especially the last 15, 20 minutes. Where were you watching it and how were you feeling?
I was watching in my apartment alone. I watched the first game with Sean McIntosh. So from Lazio, and
Mm.
we were watching it together. But then this one, I was like, I'm gonna watch this one by myself. Uh, in case something bad happens. He's got two little kids, so I didn't want to like throw my phone in his apartment or something, or his house. So yeah, I watched it alone. The last 20 minutes was 20 minutes or so was like very stressful for me. Like I just felt a goal coming.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what was going to happen there. I felt like we were going to either have a mistake. It was going to be a howler from Donnarumma. Like all the negative thoughts were running through my head there. So
That Donnarumma moment, man. I literally like it was funny. Like watching him run across the goal is one of the funniest things. Like because
it's the
he's such a
scariest thing. I don't know if I
yeah.
would say it's funny. It's scary to watch.
Yeah, it wasn't funny at the moment, but then like the slow motion replay, and you see this guy as a big sack of potatoes trying to run across. It was hilarious, but
It
yeah.
made me think of, do you remember the game where Vecino crossed it to Icardi and Donnarumma came out and then he tried backing up and then Icardi headed it in the last second?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I pictured happening in that
Yeah.
instance. So thank goodness it was
Yeah.
not the case for us.
No, it was, yeah, it was one. And I thought, when Malinovsky was coming on, like I just thought it was written in the stars, like, yeah, this guy is,
Oh god, yeah.
rocket. But luckily, it didn't happen. And I mean, let's talk about this as well. Was it a penalty or not? Because I thought it was a Stonewall penalty, to be honest. Cristante, he's a lucky boy, in my opinion.
I mean, I thought it was a penalty too. I think obviously I think Mudryk tried to sell it more. It's still a penalty. I mean, like, he makes the contact with him. I think if he goes down regularly or tries to make a play for the ball and still gets taken out, which he would have, in my opinion,
No.
they would have called it a penalty. I think because he kicked out his right leg out too to make it look even more dramatic. I think that kind of just made the ref think, oh no, not a penalty, and that's why they didn't even bother going to VAR to even check it really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
I
they
was
did one
surprised they
once.
didn't check it, though. I was really surprised they didn't check it.
Yeah, yeah. I think because of him diving in the first half, the way he was, I think that they just had it in their mind already that he was going to keep diving, and that's what he was trying to do in the last seconds of the game, really. So
Yeah. I think this is when like your reputation goes against you, isn't it? Like because he was diving the whole game, and in general, he's kind of got this reputation already. And I think it's
yeah,
already played a factor against him that he didn't get the decision there. But we definitely needed that luck because obviously in the last few qualifications we haven't had that luck against Sweden, against North Macedonia. So it was good to get
it
a
was
bit
nice
of
to get
luck.
a break. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about in terms of like performances? I mean, okay, here's talking about one of the guys yesterday who started. If you ever feel useless, remember Zaniolo exists. I mean, are you a fan of Zaniolo? Like, I've never been, when the Inter fans say, "Oh, Zaniolo's one of the big regrets of Inter." Like on a financial basis, maybe, but I've never regretted letting Zaniolo go. But at the same time, I do like him. But what's your thoughts on Zaniolo in general before we get into like his performance
So I
yesterday?
didn't want him included in the deal for Nainggolan. Like I would have much rather
Mm,
just gotten one without having to sacrifice the other. But I don't
yeah,
consider him like a major regret. Like Coutinho is my big regret. That I got to see or not see enough of, I should say. So, I mean, I'm not his biggest fan. I feel like he is pretty limited technically. Just
mm,
not the biggest fan of his. Yeah, Zaniolo's not someone that I think should even be starting for the national team. So, yeah, he
yeah,
was pretty disappointing.
yeah. I mean, yesterday, like I thought, especially with the Spalletti Napoli connection, I thought, especially Politano's form this season, I thought Politano,
I
even ahead
I
of
know I was
Berardi, should be
surprised.
the starter. And then it was weird how Politano got subbed off after like what was it, like 20, 30 minutes, and Darmian came on
Yeah,
right at the end.
yeah. I'd love to know what was going through Spalletti's head with some of those calls there. So because I always think that's his boy, like
Yeah,
Politano. Like even when he was back at Inter, like that was his kid. So
yeah,
to
yeah,
see
yeah.
him not be used in these games, or like Berardi hasn't really. I mean, he's been good for club, sure, and maybe that's what he was basing on. But Politano's been good too. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, apologies, guys, if the internet is is it lagging on your side, Gianni, or is it just my side?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Mm. Yeah. Once again, I have to get on the phone to my internet company for the 15th time to complain once again. But yeah, moving on to like Inter guys for Italy. Are we seeing the return of Nico Barella to normal levels? Because I was impressed with the kind of both performances by Barella, especially. I mean, North Macedonia, of course, was really good, 2 assists, and it was 4 chances created in general. It was really good, and even against Ukraine, maybe it wasn't like amazing, but definitely one of the better Italy players yesterday, in my opinion. What do you think? I know you're a massive Barella fan. What are you making of Barella this season, and is he coming
I mean,
back?
yeah, for the club, he hasn't been great for sure. He's been somewhat of a disappointment. I mean, recently in the most recent games for Inter, he's kind of shown signs of returning to his levels, and even now for the club for the country, he's been awesome. Like I think even yesterday, I saw he had 6 chances created. I thought when I looked up the stats that I saw 6 chances created for him, but um, yeah, I just think if he keeps this up, I mean, it should be much easier for us going forward. You know, in these matches against Juve and Napoli, you know, he's bringing this type of potential to each performance. I mean, my goodness, like especially with what we're getting from Hakan and Mkhitaryan, you know, like that's what we wanted. We wanted to have that three-headed monster in the middle. So
Yeah, no, I'm seeing some encouraging signs. I'm seeing some encouraging signs. Hopefully, he can take to Inter, especially against Juve. As obviously, we've got next
yeah,
against the the next big match, obviously, and another good sign that Di Marco is kind of like. I mean, so first of all, he surprisingly completed 90 minutes back to back, which I don't think I've ever seen him do at Inter. So he actually can do it. So
I can't
that's
even
good.
think he's actually remember him doing one 90-minute performance at Inter. So I mean, if good to know that he can do it. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised there.
Yeah, but it seems like he's pretty much nailed down that left back spot now, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's his. I mean, just the chemistry we saw between him and Chiesa, the way that they were playing together, that was beautiful to see. I mean, something we kind of saw glimpses of it in Euro 2020 between Spinazzola and Chiesa. So now to have that kind of transition now to Di Marco is beautiful, and you know he's one of my favorite. I mean, the kit I'm wearing right now is a Di Marco kit. So, um, growing up in Interista, I have a soft spot for him. So now to see him performing for the country as well, that's beautiful, and I hope he can keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as you said, maybe this is the left-hand side that we kind of can build on, like Di Marco, Barella, Chiesa. Like that's a really good trio to build on the left-hand side, isn't it?
Am I crazy to like Barella on the left more than on the right?
No, I think yeah, I think it just opens up different angles for him. I think you're right. Like I am surprised that at times he doesn't play there more for Inter as well. Because on the right he just tends to kind of drift too far to the right, doesn't he? Like become almost like a right midfielder too often,
Yeah,
spam
no,
crosses.
that's exactly how I feel. I feel like too when he's on the left, he's able to get it on his right foot and even try to rip shots top corner like he has. We've seen him do it multiple times in the past. It's like why would you
Mm,
not want to keep him there? The passing and the
mm.
range will always be there, and that'll also allow him to play diagonal balls, which I think he would be great at.
Yeah,
I don't understand why he doesn't play on the left, but
yeah. I mean, but yeah, that goal against Juve in the Coppa Italia, I remember that was exactly like that, cutting in
yep.
from that right or left-hand side onto his right. So yeah, and I think I think we're kind of realizing with Frattesi, he is definitely at the moment, definitely this is the only because even Spalletti doesn't play him on the left, Inzaghi doesn't play him on the left. Whenever he's come on for Inter, he plays on the right. He seems to be at the moment a little bit. I'm not going to say I'm worried or concerned because like we knew about this when we signed Frattesi, and I did look at him quite closely for over a year before we signed him. But are you concerned about his technical level on the long term at Inter and Italy
I
as a
I mean
passer, as receiving the ball, all the like a complete package? Like we know he can score goals, obviously, like he's amazing at that and getting into the box. But what about his complete package?
yeah, that was something. I mean, that was my main concern even over the summer. I mean, I may have exaggerated it too by saying he was trash compared to Samardzic, but that's what I wanted though. I wanted someone who had ability in every way. Like Samardzic has dribbling ability, passing ability, scoring ability. He is a good set piece taker. Like you don't have those things in Fratesi. Now he's got a motor; he can go for days, which that's great. And I think that's what a lot of people were when they were trying to compare him to Barella, which used to drive me crazy. But I think they were just focusing on the motor, but not the complete package. I don't think his touch is that great. His passing is lacking. I mean, he went a full season as in played. I think it was like 34 of the 38 games, and he had 0 assists. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he had like an expected assist below like 2. So that's not a promising sign from a midfielder. I mean,
and so
even
it's not like the
accidentally.
solo play a terrorist ball.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I understand he was missing, his 2 main forwards and stuff and running mates from the previous year, but you still should have been able to get at least one assist by accident. Um, and see that.
Yeah,
All right, I see that Fratesi's better than Vecino. Vecino even still had assists for us. So like, what's the excuse there? I mean, um, but no, like I
Well, I
hoped
mean,
I
Nima,
hope
the Italian football pod today, and he compared him to a Nocerino. Actually, today he said he's a poor man Nocerino, which I was confused about because he cost us bloody 30+ million, so he's definitely not poor man Nocerino. But again, I see where the comparison is going in terms of that limited
yeah,
skill set. And where yeah, like do you see the comparison to the Vecinos or the Nocerinos?
not so much Vecino. I would say yeah, the Nocerino one. I heard it in a space. He said that, and I heard that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, our friend Nazario was saying the same things, the same concerns that you shared and that I've been able to share. It's just I would hope that by playing along with Hakan and Barella, he would be able to pick up some of their traits and kind of learn from them and maybe get a
Mm.
better understanding of just even the vision of the pitch and kind of reading the play a little bit better. But I don't know, maybe I hope this isn't just what we're gonna get from him week in and week out. But yeah, it is tough. It is tough to watch for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we're not like I'm not criticizing him or saying I'm worried. I'm just kind of thinking out loud for like long term. This is something I want to see some development from Fratesi
Yeah,
because he's
same. Like I'm
doing
not gonna raise the red flags yet, but yeah,
yeah.
it's just something that I would want to pay attention to.
But at Inter, like I know because I've listened to you on pods and on spaces. You do want him to start ahead of Mkhitaryan now, right?
Based on the performances he's had with Inter recently, I don't know, man. I've actually talking about Alessandro. I was like, it's a coin flip for me between the two of them. My problem with Mkhitaryan is sometimes like his brain doesn't send the message to his foot quick enough to pass. I
Yeah,
just that's like my main thing with him. But we do know what he is capable of. Like that, like we haven't seen that yet from Fratesi. Like I was saying to in a space like outside of the goal against Milan, like what have we really seen from Fratesi that's really excited us? Not much, really. Not much that I could be like, yes, he should be the everyday starter. Maybe in terms of age, and going forward, and maybe wanting to preserve Mkhitaryan for the longevity of the season, it makes sense. But I mean, we see how Inzaghi loves his boy Mkhitaryan. He's gonna, ride him till the wheels come off. So I guess that's where we're at.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I think the best performances we've seen from Fratesi actually came in the Italy shirt, hasn't it? Or as a
Yeah.
impact substitute more than when he started. He's been okay. He's been okay. What about? Oh yeah, in terms of man of the match, I mean, someone asked about Kirby. Yeah, Chiesa was good, but then he also started giving the ball away a lot in the second half, which I saw frustrated Spalletti a lot in the second half, and it's probably why he got subbed off. I would have given man of the match probably to Acerbi or Buongiorno because I thought both of them were pretty solid.
Yeah, I was thinking Buongiorno. But Acerbi I wouldn't be mad at either. And it's kind of sad when you think about it with the state of center backs in Italy that Acerbi's got to be the guy who is leading the line really from back there. I mean,
No,
he hasn't let us down, so I see no reason to take him out. But nobody has actually stepped up. I did like what I saw from Buongiorno, and I hope that he can keep doing these types of performances. One thing that we talked about in a space too was the difference between Spalletti and Inzaghi, where
mm.
Buongiorno got that early yellow. He didn't just sub him off. He allowed him to kind of be able to grow into it. And you saw the maturity in Buongiorno to really, I mean, he played a solid game after that. He was very,
Mhm.
very cool, calm, and collected. Not a lot of panic in his game, which I think when you're starting in a game of this magnitude, it's expected early on. You're going to have those nerves.
Yeah.
But he settled in nicely. And, I mean, I hope Inzaghi can kind of take that away because I wanted to see more of Bisek when he had that start. So
Yeah. That guy, I don't think we're seeing him. As soon as Pavard comes back, that's the
that's
end of
it.
Bisek
He's done.
again. Yeah. But no, yeah, Cherby, he's become like, I'm not comparing him, but he's like the Chiellini of this Italy team now because there's no leaders at the back anymore, really. And
Yeah.
he's stepped in and he's, yeah. I actually can't believe it that he's still like so important for Italy. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no,
And
it is surprising. Like, we've hoped that Bastoni and Scalvini and these guys would turn into those defensive stalwarts at the back to kind of like relive the days of the Cannavaros and the Nestas and Maldini. But defensively, I feel like both of them were really lacking.
Yeah.
Now they're
Yeah,
able
like
to.
defensively, I would trust someone like Buongiorno. Like if you say Italy needs to hold a 0-0 draw somewhere, I'd probably
Yeah,
trust Buongiorno over Bastoni.
I would too. I mean, it's not a knock on Bastoni. I just think that even this year, it feels like his game has regressed a little bit defensively in terms of, he loses his men. He allows people to get in behind him. He's not that strong in the air. I've like seen him get, out muscled and stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping that turns around as well, because he is an important part for a piece for us, going forward. So
Yeah, he's regressed going back, but going forward, it seems like he's getting better and better every season. It's like
yeah,
at
maybe
some
he should
point
be
he's
a
just
left
gonna have
wing
to
back. I
turn.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah. He's just gonna have to change position. He's gonna have to do the opposite of Havertz. He's gonna go from centre back to like attacking mid striker. If people don't know, by the way, Havertz is starting his second game in a row as a left back for Germany
That's
today.
so crazy.
I don't know, Johnny. Have you ever seen an example of this? I was trying to rack my brain. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it. Like, was he Havertz like 24, 25? And he's been
20. I think he's
converted.
25. I think he's 25.
I've never seen someone convert into a defensive position at this stage of their career. Have you?
Never at this. No, never at this stage. The only one that I kind of thought of was, well, and it was only because of Roy Hodgson, was Roberto Carlos. But that wasn't because he wanted to be up there, or he was even, he was just totally playing him out of position. But yeah, I couldn't think of anyone else. I tried. Nobody came to mind.
Yeah, like obviously, like wingers often convert to fullbacks or
Yeah.
wingbacks in later stages. That's quite normal. But this is like a guy that was literally a false nine at Leverkusen or whatever he was, attacking mid. I mean, yeah, anyway, I got sidetracked there. It was just crazy to me. Obviously, I want to talk to you about like the striker position. Obviously, for Italy, that's a big concern at the moment for Italy. I mean, Scamacca was shockingly bad when he came on. I don't know what he
So
ate in the
bad.
morning. Like he was so bad that I was surprised. Actually, I was if Spalletti probably should have took him off. Not Politano should have took Scamacca off like after like 10 minutes because he was so bad. Are you worried about like the number 9 position for Italy, like especially going into the Euros?
No, because the number 9, in my opinion, was injured. He wasn't there. I think Retegui is the guy, and I'm not just saying. I think his movement in the box is great. He is able to be strong in the air. He reminds me of, honestly, a lot of Mauro Icardi. Not as good of a finisher. Like Icardi is second to none in terms of finishing. But I think Retegui has a lot of his game and a lot of similarities. Scamacca, for being such a big guy, doesn't know how to use his body. He's just, I don't understand. I don't know if he thinks he's a winger or something, that he just wants to play finesse and play off, off people and kind of run into spaces. But I don't get it with him. I don't mind Raspadori playing in the middle. The only thing is that kind of negates DiMarco's strength of being able to spam crosses in. Because then at least
Yeah.
Retegui would be able to get on the end of that. But like, to me, if everyone's healthy, my dream front three would be Chiesa, Raspadori on the right, and Retegui in the middle. And I think the three of them, would be able to work well together. Or you could have Chiesa on the right and then, keep Raspadori on the left, whatever you want. But
Yeah, because I don't know how good I think Raspadori would be pretty useless if you put him on the right. Like,
yeah.
I would rather force Chiesa onto the right, at least because he's still useful on the right, and then Raspadori on the left, because I know he used to play there for Sassuolo quite a bit. But yeah, no, a good shout on Retegui. I completely forgot about Retegui because he's been injured, and I don't actually has Spalletti called him up even when he wasn't injured? Because I know Mancini liked him.
I think he was on the initial team, but then he got hurt, like for not this international break, the one previously.
Mm-hmm.
But then once Retegui went down, then I think he got subbed. I forgot who he called up. It might have been could it have been Scamacca he brought back? I don't remember now, but I know he was on one of his initial teams.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. In a game like yesterday, though, in my opinion, I don't know how much difference Retegi would have done because, like, when
Yeah,
Samata,
yesterday I don't think he would have been much of an impact at all. So
yeah, like I think, yeah, maybe like Moise Kean because he's like, even though he scored like 0 goals, he's actually been having pretty good season for Juventus, like
yeah,
hold up play, strength, like he's actually been developing this season. Um, but yeah, it's a worry for me going into the Euros. Like, what are your expectations for Italy going into the Euros? Are you expecting a deep run, or are you just kind of like, let's get out of the group stage and that's everything is a bonus?
yeah, like I think it really will obviously depend on what kind of draw we get, but I would think maybe a quarterfinal at best. When you have, I just feel like we have so many deficiencies in terms of defense, attacking line. It can't just be uh give it to Chiesa and pray. Really, like you have to have other options and other people that you could lean on. So it'll be interesting to see like who is going to be available, who he brings. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see if Kolpani can get a spot in this lineup at some point because of his performances and his ability to score. I think that
Mm,
could be a weapon. Maybe you have him play a little behind the striker, or if you want, maybe like switch up the midfield and kind of maybe like a three. I don't know, maybe like a 3-3-1. I don't know. You could like there's so many different because obviously he can't play as a mezzala. Really, you have to kind of have him a little more forward. Could you maybe use him as a right winger if you wanted to because he has that left foot? Like I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
It would
definitely. I
be
think, yeah, I
interesting
would
to
take him
see.
over Zaniolo in that position. I think I would
100%.
rather
I
play him there. Yeah,
I think so too. Like, and then it allows you to then leave Chiesa where he's better on the left. I mean,
yeah.
but
Well,
he's a
Kirby
guy that I
makes a
think
good
could
point,
be.
Gianni. Like, yes, this Italy team is not that great, but then like outside of like France, obviously, who are like, just crazy stacked. There isn't like scary teams out there that
Maybe
you
England,
face. Yeah, England, yeah.
just because
But
of the
again,
performance
like,
we've had against them recently. Like
yeah,
that they.
yeah. But I feel like in a tournament, we've seen what they like and what we've seen. Like in a kind of a knockout tournament, anything can happen. I still wouldn't be scared if we get faced up against England. But yeah, outside of those two teams, okay, maybe Portugal, they're looking a little bit better.
I don't
Like,
know about Portugal. Spain doesn't really scare me. Like obviously, it's not the same Spain that we
yeah,
we had to worry about when even 5-6 years ago.
yeah,
What
exactly.
about?
So
Well, just because of our history against them. What about Croatia?
yeah, I mean, but they haven't even qualified yet. I think they still need
I
to.
think they have to go to the playoff, right?
Yeah, yeah. So and yeah, there. I mean, we're talking about number 9 issues. They're playing Ante Budimir up front at the moment, which is
Yeah.
yeah. They need to find
Like I don't
some
think I would
sort of.
really be afraid of Croatia. I just think because of our history to struggling against
Mm,
Croatia is what would worry me more so.
yeah, and they seem to be kind of just like turn into a different beast when it comes to the international tournament as well.
I know. Like everyone looks tired and then they get to the actual tournament, it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I'm standing up, Gordo, because I've got a standing desk and I've been sitting down all day, so I'm trying to like
if I
force.
knew that I would have put my desk up. Mine's a standing desk too. So.
But I'm too jittery. I'm too like I need to like just calm down. I know I probably just like you just see this on the screen like I've just done cocaine or something. But yeah, I think that kind of covers it in terms of Italy talk. Yeah, we're qualified. Barella's coming back. Oh yeah, and there was a point that Kirby made. Let's like transition into Inter now. Obviously, we're playing. We're not doing like a preview for Juve's game, but obviously, just quickly mentioning. Obviously, we're playing Juve in the next upcoming game. Are you worried about Barella playing back to back 90, Acerbi playing back to back 90, Di Marco playing back to back 90? Is that a worry for you?
Normally I would say yes, but based on DiMarco has never done it. So like it's gonna be good. We know he's gonna get subbed off around the 60th, 65th, 70th minute at some point for Carlos Agosto in that game. Um, so I'm not too worried about him. Barella continues to do. I mean, he just has legs for days. He runs. It's insane with him. And like, yeah, maybe he'll come back and be tired, but like I feel like for these games, especially a game like the Derby, he always turns up and has everything like there mentally and is able to perform for us. So I'm not too worried about. I'd share to be the only one just because of his age. Sure, like that makes sense to be a little bit concerning, especially given that Bastoni's hurt. We don't have Pavard, so it's probably going to be Acerbi on the left, De Vrij and Darmian, really your back three. You know, Darmian even played one. Did he play the full 90 the first game? I don't
Yeah,
remember now.
first
I
game
think
played
he
the
did.
full
Yeah.
90. Yeah.
So like, you know, you have two guys who are over the age of 33 who might be a little bit tired, you know, and then what? Like you're not going to go to Bisek. You know, he's not going to trust him in a game of that magnitude, right? So you're going to have those three playing the full 90, barring any injury. That would be my main concern back there. But you know what? Hopefully, hopefully everything goes good. I would get them with the the massage therapist. Make sure they're well rested, get relaxed, loosen them up as much as possible, so that you don't have to worry about anything. Because those guys, I would really take it easy on them in practice leading up to them. Personally, I mean, I hope Inzaghi thinks the same thing, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, Frattesi, this guy's not even played enough this season, so that would
Yeah,
be actually quite good for Frattesi to get full 90 minutes under his legs. Beneficial. And the thing is, on the other side, Juve, they didn't really have that many players playing here. Like, Gatti played the first game, and Chiesa obviously played in the two games. But aside from that, their players, and then Locatelli he's injured at the moment, but I'm sure he's going to be like magically fit for the game
it's gonna be a
and fully
miracle. Yeah.
rested. Yeah. So actually, I'm actually surprised Chiesa played this game because every international break he's somehow been injured recently.
Well, when he went down, what in the first game, like the first 7-8 minutes, and I was like, no way. I was like, is he already hurt? Like, he ended up being fine, but my goodness.
Yeah. So that's my concern is not even more about the interplays, it's more about like Juve in general being more rested because they're not in cup competitions this whole beginning of the season. We haven't started the Coppa Italia yet, so they've not had one midweek fixture yet. And international break, they've managed to rest a few more players. So that's why I'm a little bit more concerned now going into that Juve game. And it's away at the Allianz where our record is pretty bad.
I'm worried that they're gonna just punt the Coppa Italia just to focus solely on winning the league.
Oh yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, what's the point of winning a Coppa Italia? Like, if you can't
There's
even
nothing, does nothing.
Yeah. So and obviously Allegri end of the season, it is kind of worrying going into that game. I wanted to get into like some Inter talk for like the season until now, and I've got like a little quiz for you on the
Ooh,
spot,
okay,
Gianni. So it's a
great.
simple one. It's just like stats, like who's leading stats for the season at the moment. So let's start with number of minutes played. Who's the player who's got the most minutes? Obviously, this one's quite obvious.
I'm gonna say Jan Sommer.
Yeah, and that's your
Okay,
boy, by the way. If people
that
don't
is my
know,
boy.
and I have to admit, I wasn't fully convinced by. I was one of the guys that, like I said, it was a good signing, but I was never like convinced by Jan Sommer as a goalkeeper over the years. But he's definitely showing that he's a top club goalkeeper, and he's proving at the moment. And I think I saw when we tweeted it out earlier, and we'll get into it, a lot of people put him in their mid or not even mid season, like whatever point of the season we're at, team of the season right now. Who is number 2 most minutes played? And you guys can also take part in the chat, guys.
Ooh, number 2 minutes played. I'm gonna go with Lautaro.
It is Lautaro. Well done. Wow. Very,
Oof.
very good. Yeah, I
I
would
was
have I
so
would
out.
have guessed I would have guessed
Yeah.
this as well. Maybe Hakan or Dumfries, I would have guessed
See,
my
I was
person.
torn between Dumfries and Lautaro, and I decided to stick to my guns there. So
Okay, who's third then? Let's finish out the podium.
I'm gonna say Dumfries.
Nope, it's not. I'm actually surprised how low down Dumfries is.
Ooh, okay. So if it's not him, is it Taram?
No, he's not. It's not Turam.
All right, then. Phew. I'm gonna say then. I don't know. I know Hakan missed the game. Mickey?
It's Hakan, but only by 4 minutes.
Oh,
It's Hakan and Miki. Yeah, I mean, thinking about it because it's Inzaghi's boy. Everyone thinks it's Miki, and I would have said the same thing too. But it's Hakan by 4 minutes, 1,203 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah. That's literally one substitution, one Frattesi for Mkhitaryan substitution.
Yeah.
And who has? Oh, let me see if you guess this one. Who has the least minutes this season? And it's not Bisek.
I see. I don't. I want to say Aldero because he has none.
No. So it's
So actual people
someone
who
that
play.
has minutes. Yeah.
Someone that has okay. So it's not Bisek. Oh, Klaassen.
No, it's not Klaassen. Klaassen has got 72 minutes.
He's got 72 minutes. Jeez.
Yeah, somehow.
Klaassen. All right, not Klaassen. It's got to be between. I'm gonna say Agume then.
Yeah, it is. It is a Gourmet. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Sean, if he's still in the house, I know he's a Gourmet FC. Oh god. And then afterwards it's Sensi with 17 minutes, which is actually more than I thought he had this season.
17. Do you think he should be getting more?
For me, yeah. I mean, I think he should be getting more minutes than Klaassen. If Klaassen has 72 minutes, I think Sensi should have more than that. But
I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't.
Inzaghi just doesn't rate him clearly.
I don't know why, because I think in terms of actual talent, he's like the third best midfielder, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would, yeah. I mean, what's your ranking there? Like, I would put him even in terms of talent. I would put him ahead of Hakan as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I could see an argument for that for sure. Like I had it Barella, Hakan, and then Sensi, but I think you could like interchange, Hakan and Sensi. I wouldn't be upset with that. So.
Yeah, I think it's just because we haven't seen him for so long now.
I mean, yeah, who knows? He could have regressed so much by not playing. So.
Yeah. And then, Bisek has 52 minutes. And then Cuadrado, surprisingly, has 97 minutes. But I only remember like 15 of them.
Yeah, I remember like the first game, maybe the first 2 games is all I remember of him.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. And then Aslani has 188 minutes, which is less. Like if I had to guess at the beginning of the season, I would have thought this is the season that Aslani starts to get more minutes. But I think recently he started to turn the corner with Inzaghi. So I think this second half of this first half of the season, if that makes sense, he's going to get at least like 300, 400 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. I think we've definitely seen an improvement in his game and definitely more mature. And when he comes on, there is a confidence that he has now that I thought was lacking last season. So yeah, I'm really happy with his maturity. And I hope he keeps going like this because I mean, listen, if a guy like Hakan goes down, he will be playing important minutes and will have to be the everyday starter there. So yeah, it's good to see that growth in his game.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in Aslani. Like I think he's more of a Brozovic type regista than Hakan's also kind of showing me signs that he is this season as well. But I think he's just like that ready-made almost Brozovic type of regista, in my opinion. Sorry, I'm just looking for the tweet for today, the team of the season ones that we pull up, because we're gonna move on to that before we go today. And thank you to everyone that commented today, by the way. It was lots of engagement. Yes, of course, people making fun of me because it's November, but it's the international break, so I was bored. So let me pull up Gianni's team of the season until now for Serie A. Or Sean's one is here. Let's look at Sean's, because he was there earlier and he's still here. So let's rate or trash Sean's team. He's gone for a 4-3-1-2 formation that only, I don't know, Ancelotti plays. I don't know how many other teams play Empoli. So he's gone for Zoma, Dumfries, Bremer, Acerbi, Di Marco, Coop minus, that's a good shout, Hakan, Bonaventura, with Colpani in behind, Lautaro and Thuram. What are you making of that team? I think that's a pretty solid team.
Yeah, no, I like that team for sure. The only thing that I mean, I obviously did a different formation, so I think the only difference is that between his and mine is, I had another center back, and then I had instead of Coop Miners, I think I put Colpani there as like my midfielder, but I love Coop, so I think that's a good shout. I like that team.
Yeah, we've got another person who's in the house right now, Ahmed Bacha, in the comments. So let's bring up his one. His one seems quite similar to my. Oh, wait, he's going for Lewis Ferguson in here. That's a good shout as well, isn't it?
I had him in mind initially too, and then I swapped him out for Bonaventura. That's I like that team too. Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice team. This is a very balanced team. Like, I think this team could work in real life too.
So we're bringing in Spalletti, and we're bringing these guys over, starting fresh.
I saw some people. I don't know if it was replying to you or to one of my tweets, but someone was like questioning Tomori, and I think because of maybe Milan's recent bad form, he's going to come under the radar. But Tomori has been quite good for Milan this season.
Exactly. That's why I had him in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about what Milan's doing, but I mean, I tried to be as unbiased as possible. Really, like obviously, I could have put Acerbi. Well, I think I did because it was a back three is what I did, but like if I did a back four. Yeah, you can make a case for Acerbi. You can even make a case for De Vrij too, in my opinion. I think De Vrij's been phenomenal as well. So I just went with Acerbi because he's played more than De Vrij. But yeah, like I mean, I get it. Like, but I agree. Like Tomori should be there. You can't just look at what the team's doing. You have to see how he's been playing. And had it not been for him, they might have been in even worse situation than the current are. So.
No, yeah, for sure. He's also put Jim City as a kind of late shout, which is also, I think that Atalanta defense deserves a shout because they've been, until we went to the Atalanta stadium, they didn't concede a goal at home. So
yeah, no, that's a good one too.
And here's your one. So he's gone for the Serie A special, the 3-5-2. Acerbi, Bremer, Tomori, Sule, Chala, Colpani, Bonaventura, Kvara, Thuram, Lautaro, with the honorable mention of Goodmanson. Yeah, that's a really solid one. So you're playing Colpani like as the advanced midfielder?
Yeah. Like then you got Chala as the regista and Bonaventura as your mezzala, and I mean, sure, Sule and Kvara are probably out of position for sure, but I was like, you know what? I mean, I think we can make it work, right? We might be lacking defensively, but going forward, we won't struggle. So.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised not to see much Politano shouts in the. I guess because Sule has been so good, but I feel like Politano deserves a shout because he's been the only good attacker really for Napoli. But apart from that, I wouldn't put any Napoli player. I don't even think Kvara, because he was injured for like the first
The only reason I put him, like, I didn't want to put DiMarco because I feel like, yes, he's had assists and he's had good moments, but I feel like consistently he hasn't been doing good. And I think Kvara has kind of been turning it on. I mean, he finally ended that duck where he wasn't scoring, and he seemed to have kind of found his game again.
Yeah.
And again, I was just trying to be unbiased. Like, we could have
literally.
I mean,
guys, let's be real. We could make a 11 just with Inter players, but we're trying to be unbiased. Let's have a look of any other interesting ones.
That gif was good,
Oh,
man.
there you go. And
Oh,
NYC
there you go.
Juventus,
You got Politano.
Politano. There you go. Yeah. Oh, wow, McKennie. I mean, that one's a bit out there. I mean, he is a Juve fan, so I can see
Yeah,
some
yeah,
bias coming in there. And then I personally would put Di Gregorio or Sommer over Szczesny because he had
yeah.
that one really bad game against Sassuolo, so that takes like a minus for me.
Yeah. I got I mean, before we got on, I was saying like the guy I struggled with too was between Sommer and Di Gregorio.
Mm.
But I just thought because of the clean sheets, I just had to give it to Sommer. So
Draguzin, that's an interesting shout because I mean,
that's not a bad
yeah,
one. He's been playing
yeah.
very well himself. Yeah.
I mean, what's his name? Your boy at Genoa, the striker. I'm just blanking on his name right now.
Retegui.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been a shout, but then he got injured. He started off the season quite
He started
well.
off great. This guy must be a Genoa fan.
Well, his name is Jose Nerazzurro. So I don't know.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a bit like a left field shout. Like, I mean, I would definitely, I would definitely not put Bastoni in the season till
Nah, there's
now
no way
team.
I put Bastoni in my team personally.
Zielinski, no. Lukaku over Lautaro. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to. Yeah, I think he's
I'm
trying
telling
his
you, he
best
might not
not
be
to
an
Bayern.
Interista. He might not be.
This is burner account. But yeah, I'll pull up my one now. I'll put it into the software thingy. So I went like, I tried to be a little bit. I put some names in there that I didn't see. So I put in obviously Bremer, Acerbi. I went for Grigori and goal, and I limited myself to only 2 Inter players because I would have put Dumfries or Sommer for sure probably. But I think the 2 unmovables for me, I think Hakan has been the best. He's been the best midfielder in the league, and Lautaro is the best striker in the league. So those 2 for me were unmovable. And then Acerbi, yeah, you can put Tomori there, you can put other guys there.
I
But I
really
wanted
like
to
this
shout out
team.
Calafiori because I felt like there was one Bologna player needed to be in there because Bologna's been kind of overperforming. So what do you think?
No, I mean, that's what I was. Well, I didn't really think about Calafiori. I'm glad you included him because he has been very good for them. The
Yeah.
Bologna player I was thinking of was Ferguson. I mean, you could have made a case for Xerxes too. Like he's been pretty good for them. I don't think it's resulted in goals for him, but I think he's been playing very well. Yeah, no,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that's brilliant.
this team I would actually love to see play. I mean, I love Nico Gonzalez. I just couldn't think of a place to put him.
Yeah. So I did the same thing as you. It's kind of like, fake wing backs, but it's going to be very
Yeah.
unbalanced. And I felt like Edison, I had to, like trying to get an Atalanta player in there. I felt like Edison deserved the shout. Obviously, Coop Miners as well, but I think Coop Miners has like had some few injuries, and Edison's I think has played every single game this season for them. And I was a big fan of Edison when they signed him, and then he had
Yeah, me
quite a
too.
average season last year, and I was like, oh, maybe he's not as good as I thought he is. But then this year he's like, I think it always takes some time on the Gasperini, doesn't it? Maybe it takes like a season at least to
Yeah,
kind of get used to.
there's very few people who come in and are able to be integrated right away. Like in recent years, the only ones I could really think of are, I mean, Coop Miners and maybe you could say Papu Gomez adapted pretty quickly to him. I can't really think of anyone else who came in was already to make an impact right away. So,
Yeah. Well, Lookman.
oh yeah, no, Lookman's a good one too. Yep, I forgot
Yeah.
about him.
But yeah, usually it takes a minute for players to kind of get used to those tactics.
This is a
But
really
yeah,
good team. Like I would actually want to see this team play.
yeah. I mean, it would be chaos for sure. There'd be a lot of good football, but conceding maybe a lot of goals too. But it kind of when I was making this team, I don't know if it was the same for you. It kind of makes you think like it's been a kind of underwhelming season in Serie A until now.
I would say it's kind of been some teams that you would expect to be, cemented in the top 4 have been underperforming. Then you've had some good surprises like Bologna, who've been now playing their, what was expected of them. Atalanta has actually been better than we were. it's funny, like they've kind of done the opposite of what we typically expect from them. Normally it's, high scoring, ridiculous games. Now they've been much more level headed and controlled at the back, and been able to win games 1-0, 2-1, stuff like that. And they've still been steady. I think that they could turn around. I really think the top more so has been disappointing. Lazio and Roma haven't been living up to, what it was expected for them. But then you have the teams that are, near the bottom and stuff, or the mid-table teams, I should say, that are playing better. I mean, Genoa's having a pretty good season for themselves. They've been a pleasant surprise. I think that once they can get healthy, I think they could even finish, in the top 10. Monza, you can never discount what they're doing over there. Palladino, I think after this year, I think he's going to be the guy who takes over at Milan, if I had to guess.
Oh,
I
interesting.
just think that I don't think they're going to continue with Pioli. I mean, obviously they can get a bigger name, but with the way he's working with Monza, I could see him going there. Italiano's been much better with Fiorentina, but like the typical top 6, top 7 teams are kind of been slow out of the gates. And I mean, Lazio's had such a disappointing season in so many ways, but I don't know if I would say it's disappointing. I think it's been surprising. Obviously, like, Inter and Juve are where you expect them to be. Everybody else is kind of fighting for the rest. And Napoli, I mean, let's see what happens now with Mazzari over there. If that can,
Mm.
if that could be,
Cool. Yeah,
can
maybe
right the
I
ship.
think how I meant it was like, in terms of when you look at players, maybe some of the, obviously we had like Napoli had Kvara and Osimhen last year who were like getting, world class shouts and, best in Europe type
Yeah.
reputation. And yeah,
Okay.
obviously we had the fall off from them. And then Leao's not been as good for Milan this season. So I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, in
He
terms
seems
of
like
that
he's checked
star
out.
power, I guess.
Sure. No, I would agree with that then. Yeah. In terms of that, it's definitely been missing. Even with Lukaku scoring the goals he's had, it hasn't really been that incredible. Dybala's been in and out himself. It feels like goal scoring, and by goal score, I mean goal scorers, like top goal scorers are kind of outside of
Oh man,
Lautaro, really.
it's embarrassing. Like Lautaro's like walking away with it at the moment. He's
Yeah,
on
like, I
12
mean,
and
look at that.
he's
Kolpani's
seven.
third right now. Like, come on. Like, I mean, good for him, obviously. Like, I'm not, but like, that is a, a rough list. And then how many of those are penalties for Giroud?
I think at least like 4 of those are penalties.
Right? So it's
Yeah,
like, so realistically, he shouldn't even, like, a threat, in all honesty. I
yeah,
do
and
like seeing
Osimhen's gonna
Kolpani and
be out.
Gonzalez up there, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I had to include Nico Gonzalez in my team because yeah, he's been kind of carrying that Fiorentina attack. He's got a few penalties as well, though. I think he's got 2 or 3 penalties as well.
Yeah, I think I know 2 for sure, actually, for Nico.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just like in terms of that, yeah, goal scorer, star power,
Sure,
Serie A
yeah.
has been a bit underwhelming this at the moment for now. But yeah, hopefully Dybala comes back fit and Osimhen comes back fit soon because it's good to see a competitive Serie A, but just not too competitive. I like how it is right now,
I mean,
actually.
hopefully Osimhen comes back after the Inter match. We wish him
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Obviously, we forgot to kind of give Marcus Thuram a little shout because obviously he's been amazing. He obviously would be the other striker ahead of Goodmanson, but we're just trying to be unbiased.
Yeah, no, I put him in. I gave the honorable mention to Goodmanson. That's what I went with. Because yeah, like, just the assist that he's had, the impact he's had, even if he doesn't get on the score sheet, it just seems like he's doing all the work that you would want or had hoped for, really, from Lukaku in years past. And it's incredible to see. Even the way he's picked up the Serie A and the chemistry he's developed with Lautaro, it's been beautiful. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we came in at like the 11th hour and kind of sniped that from Milan, because that could have been really bad for us if we didn't.
Yeah. I would have been very surprised because yeah, we put so much groundwork like 2 years ago, and I know that there was still contacts with the entourage. I would have been really surprised if we didn't end up landing him. So yeah,
Well, it
but
did go
no,
like radio silent for a little bit, no? Like, we didn't like
yeah.
hear anything. The rumors were he was like going to Milan, so I was like, oh great, like, we letting this guy slip away on a free. So yeah, I'm glad we were able to get that. And
It's
Imagine where
crazy.
we'd be without him and Lukaku, really. Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I mean, of course, we would like to kind of make fun of Lukaku and stuff like that, but imagine, yeah, because the plan wasn't Thuram or Lukaku, it was Thuram and Lukaku. That was the plan.
that was the plan. Yeah.
So imagine, but then obviously there would have been no Pavard for sure. It would have been just Lukaku and Klaassen. That would have been our summer window. It would have been Lukaku and Klaassen.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's crazy to see Martin de Roon and Jeremy Toljan competing for top assist for each of them.
Darun surprising. I mean, Sassuolo, yeah, with Toliana, yeah. I don't. I'll be honest. When I watch Sassuolo, I don't even notice Tolian. So the fact that he even
Yeah.
has 4 assists, it
That's what I
just
mean.
blows my mind.
And Ricardo Marquizza for Frosinone is like, Sule and the other guys are catching all the headlines, and this guy's on 4 assists, who is pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's quickly before we go. Actually, yeah, there was 2 questions I had saved. We're coming up to the hour mark, and I don't want to keep you for too long, bro. I know we've talked about this a few times, and I do see this as a possibility, but I think it all depends on Aslani, Kirby's question about us getting rid of Hakan. What do you think of it in the summer?
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. It really depends on how Aslani grows, but then it's like, then where do you go after to replace, the backup? The guy I would have wanted is already been sold to Sporting, in Hillman. Like, I thought he would have been a perfect guy to bring in if you needed someone to replace. Like, let's say we decided to give up on Aslani or something. But now that if you did sell Hakan and Aslani became the starter, I don't know where you would go from there. That's what would be interesting to see, is what direction they decide to go in. If that is the case, I think him and Dumfries are the 2 most likely candidates to be sold in the summer if we were going to sell anybody. Although we've already heard from Marotta that someone's going to, every summer there's going to be one sacrifice. So it's like, okay, cool. The only other thing that might be interesting to me outside of Hakan is Thuram, and that's if he keeps going like this with his release clause. If PSG do, let's say, sell Mbappe, I think they're taking that money and they're coming right to Inter and triggering that clause. That's the only thing that really scares me. But
yeah, in that case, we have to bet on one of the Esposito brothers to finally.
oh my gosh,
do something.
no, let's stop with. Let's cut off that family. Send them all to Spezia together if we have to. Maybe
Tell his dad, tell the dad to just stop making babies now. It's like,
that's it. No more kids. You could have maybe a daughter for the Inter women's team. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, the other Thuram brother, Kirby said. Keprin wouldn't be a bad shout.
Well, I see him as a mezzala. I mean, yeah.
Me too.
That would be.
Yeah,
Bologna, he's been kind of impressive. I do like the Bologna shout. But the Sassuolo will just charge you through the roof now.
And that's the thing. Like, how many more kids can we give them? Especially since we kind of robbed them for Pinamonti.
Hey man, we've always got someone coming up.
The kid what is it, DiMaggio?
DiMaggio. We've got that Kamate guy who's been balling out recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lord Foxtrot. You're gonna be hearing about sacrifices. Marotta said it, so like, I don't want to hear it either.
Even without Marotta saying it, we on my channel always try to look into the account and give people the realistic truth, and that's just how it is. Marotta actually decided to lay it down, which is usually not the Marotta.
Which I wish he would have, because then it's like, I feel like everybody in the summer is going to come, just being like, well, you have to get rid of him. I'm not going to pay what he's worth. You have to sell more than I need to buy him. So.
Yeah. Which is why I initially thought we did with Onana, but then I still think we kind of undersold Onana. But
I 100% agree that we undersold him.
Yeah.
After the year he had, I thought 70, 80.
It looks bad now. Like, it looks bad saying it now, like, oh no, you got the right price. But when you think about it and what like Kepa went for and other guys went for, I think we still undersold him.
Who didn't even go to Champions League finals. Kepa never even, I don't think he even played in the Champions League before that sell. Like, where did that come from? So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Brazil are playing Argentina today. That's going to be a big game as usual. What do you make of this question from Eduardo? Like Lautaro seems to have like done the opposite thing now over the last few years. Before he used to go to Argentina and used to be balling out completely different to what he did at Inter. And now is the complete opposite where the Argentina fans don't get to see the Lautaro we get to see, and he gets this really bad reputation, I feel like, especially since the World Cup. What do you make of like do you think he's gonna if he starts today, what do you expect from him, and what do you make of his Argentina performances?
I think he will start. Um, I don't think he's going to start with Julian Alvarez. Do I think he'll be able to perform? I mean, I hope not, just because I want him to be able to come back and perform for us. But like for that big of a rivalry, I think it's hard to not get up for those games, and I could see him having a goal or an assist. He will have some involvement. I think he, it may not be something beautiful. It might just be like a cheap tap in, but I think he'll be involved in a goal one way or another.
Yeah, I hope so, because it would be good to get him keep that confidence up. Because he's gonna,
Yeah,
yeah, he's gonna have to travel back. He's gonna have the jet lag, regardless. When he comes back, because he's gonna be the last. Those South Americans are always the last ones to come back.
it's always so crazy
Him,
that they are too.
yeah, and so I'd rather him at least come back with some form and some confidence than you know going viral for some miss, which often seems to happen because I wake up because of my timing difference. I'll wake up and I'll just see Lautaro being slanted left, right, and center for some crazy miss.
It's always crazy when you see like the reactionary takes from like Chelsea and Arsenal fans. Talking about how they don't want Lautaro, or they're like, "Oh, he's never a striker. I would want at my club." I'm like, buddy, look at the options
Yeah,
you have right now at your club.
crazy. And the last one, Hamden said, "It's a good question. If you had a choice between getting a wing back or a striker in January, what would you choose? Keeping in mind Cuadrado's injury."
Oof, that's a great question.
I would forward that to Alex on the interviews pod. Next one.
Yeah, I might bring that up with him too. That's a good one. Now, can I assume that let's say we sell Alexis to a Saudi club or an MLS club or a South American club? Can I?
Yeah, let's say that spot frees up the Alexis spot, or Arnautovic just gets like this, like a season-ending injury or something.
Oof. I think I would rather bring in like Taremi in January than bringing a wing back, even if Cuadrado is hurt, because you still have at least Darmian there who can cover. We know Pavard's coming back, so obviously that'll be able to push Darmian up to kind of support Dumfries again. Obviously, he could cover for either one of them, which is great to have. But I think if you get a guy like Taremi to play behind Lauti and Thuram, and then you'll be able to rotate the three of them, that'd be huge. I think that would still be bigger than bringing in a cover for Cuadrado, just because we already know Cuadrado is probably not going to be re-signed in the summer. So the best thing is that we only gave him a 1-year deal, so that
Yeah.
we could let him just walk. Whatever. Thank you for your 48 minutes, whatever it was you did, and then
One
we can
little
go
dance.
find. And then I mean we'll see too, because what if we sell Dumfries in the summer? Then you got to replace two guys. But I think I'd feel better getting Taremi just because of what we have and what we're missing up front. I don't feel confident with Alexis or Marco coming in, and I was kind of hopeful. Maybe it was the nostalgia. I was really hopeful that Marco Arnautovic would be able to have an impact for us, and especially when this first game he gets a nice assist to Lauti. I was like, okay, like this will be good for his confidence, and the injuries have been piling up for him, it seems. So
Yeah, I still don't. Yeah, I still rate Arnautovic as a player, but yeah, it was just when we signed him, a 34-year-old with that injury history is just kind of
and for
yeah,
10 million, like that's what upset me. Like the price tag. Like if it was 4 to 5, I think I would have been okay with it. But like 10 million, you're never gonna recoup that. And then it's just crazy because then you look, Genoa got Retegi for 12 million. So it's like you're gonna tell me you felt better about spending that money on a guy you wouldn't like, even if Retegi didn't work out, you knew you'd be able to at least get that money back.
Mhm.
Like somebody would pay 15 million
Yeah.
to get him, like, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you sign Taremi, that's almost guaranteeing you the Scudetto, in my opinion. Like, you can bring a guy like, I know Taremi, I think he's not been in great form this season, only got 3 goals and 3 assists, but I think he's kind of, you can tell that, he knows it's the last year of his contract, and you've seen the rumors about him, us, Milan as well. Like, I think he just knows he's going to make that move.
Yeah.
And
I would agree with you there.
Yeah, that's just as close as you can get to a guaranteed goal scorer coming in, hungry as well, because he's going to be hungry to get that first title in as soon as he moves as well. Like, if we can get him in January, that would be amazing.
That'd be so huge. Yeah.
Who did we sign in January? In the Mourinho, did we make a January signing?
Pandev.
Yeah. So like that. I mean, that was an instant impact.
That would be our Pandev signing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like, it's a need, but it's not like I don't think we're not gonna win the Scudetto if we don't do it, but pretty much done and dusted, unless cross my fingers and touch every type of wood, something happens to Lautaro or Thuram or something like that.
Oof. Yeah.
But obviously, let's hope not. But yeah, man. Sorry for keeping you this long.
No, man. No, I
love
love being able to chat with you. I mean, since you never have time to come on the podcast, at least I can come on here.
Wow, this guy. No. Now that last few months has just been a bit crazy with my family and marriage and stuff like that. So things are getting better now. So yeah, next time you invite me, I'll be on.
Oh, okay. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, let me pull up the InterViews so people know where to follow you. So yeah, this is where you go.
Appreciate
to follow the guys, and all the various podcast platforms you can find them on. I've left the link tree in the description down below. Make sure you check them out. Great podcast. Gianni here and Alex, who's the other half. And they also have a newsletter, which I don't know is it still going, the newsletter?
Alessandro is kind of taking a break from it, but he said he is going to start it back up again. Work has been pretty crazy for him. And since I do the editing and everything, we kind of try to balance out like who does what, just so nobody has to do a little bit too much. But yeah, he will be picking that back up. So hopefully here soon.
Yeah. And prediction for the Juve match whilst I've got you here?
I'm gonna say 2-0 Inter. I think we're gonna get one for. I think Barella gets his first goal of the season, and Lauti gets another one himself.
Wow, confident.
Appreciate that, Eduardo.
All right, man. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and of course, follow the InterViews pod, as I said. Ciao, ragazzi. Forza Inter, and keep a lookout for a full Juve preview pod. Ciao.